Would you like to get updated with the latest episode of AnimeKouhai Tensura spoiler series? It's episode number 324, Volume 14, Chapter 1, Part 3, entitled, Benimaru finally makes up his mind about accepting the marriage proposals. Support the channel and you will have access to 3 episodes per week. Check out her Patreon page if you get a chance.
There was only one reason why the Empire had stayed put until now. They had been waiting resolutely for the day that Rudra could unleash Armageddon again. Now with the threat of Granbell out of the picture, needless to say, Rudra believed that they would be victorious. As for Guy, he still had not been able to control the Demon Lords completely. They were incooperative with each other. All the Demon Lords did as they pleased. Each of them possessed great influence individually, but they were no threats in Rudra's eyes.
This time, everything is stacked in our favor.
But do we have enough time? I really want to bring my foolish brother to our side. That way we can use him to deal with Guy. If we could even manage to dispose of my sister, Velzard, then Rain and Misery won't stand a chance against us. That brings me to my next question. How is your power of domination?
Rest assured. If you could keep Veldora occupied on the battlefield, I can use Regalia Dominion to achieve complete control over him.
A gentle smile emerged on Velgrin's cruel yet beautiful face upon hearing this.
Oh, then victory is all but guaranteed.
Naturally. Everything is going just as I planned.
Wonderful, though I am rather worried about you.
Oh, stop that.
He chided.
This is the natural order of things. The human body is truly inconvenient.
Rudra.
Successively inheriting my will and memories each time I reincarnate has taken its toll on my soul. It would be fine if I had some time to rest like Gadra, but that is a forbidden luxury for me. If I were to do that, my power would be sealed again.
That way, Rudra would have to start over if he wished to unleash his power. If he were to do that during every reincarnation, he would have no chance against Guy. That was why he had been waiting for his power to mature this whole time. Now that he felt his power reaching full strength, the stage was set. Despite everything, Rudra was pushing himself quite a bit in order to maintain this state. Not only did this incarnation of him have no empress, he did not even have a concubine. Even though the supposed empress of the empire was nothing but a title, this was highly abnormal. This meant that no imperial heir was born as a spare for Rudra. Having one wouldn't separate his power. His incarnations were very special. The heir he brought forth would inherit all his power and knowledge. It was the purest form of hereditary monarchy. In a sense, it wasn't an heir at all. The imperial heir could be said to be the emperor himself. However, he did not do this during the present incarnation. It had to do with the use of Armageddon. If the imperial heir were to inherit his power, his skills would be limited until he matured to adulthood. Obtaining immense power came with repercussions, and he wouldn't be able to contain it. Even Rudra couldn't hold up against it. Yet, right now, this was the best situation they'd chanced upon. All the stars had aligned, and to forfeit the opportunity, solely to reincarnate as the prince would waste yet another decade. Rudra did not want that. But this greatly worried Velgrind. Maintaining his full strength seemed to push Rudra's mind to its limit. The duration of his sleep had been shortening and he was often exhausted. Under these circumstances, Rudra's soul was wearing away rapidly. If he gave his power to the heir, it would delay the activation of Armageddon, but it would also ease his symptoms. Yet still, he adamantly refused. This was his time. He wanted to settle his game against Guy once and for all. Velgrind could not bear to see Rudra like this.
How much time do you have left, Rudra?
You don't have to worry. At the very least, I can guarantee you that I will not fall before I conquer this world.
I see. I should have expected that, from you of all people.
Don't be so sad, Velgrind. When I achieve victory, I shall end this all. Have faith. Simply observe how I dominate this world.
Rudra said with an arrogant smile. He was the embodiment of a ruler in every sense of the word. He who ruled all and walked the path of hegemony. That was the hero Emperor Rudra. Captivated by Rudra's ambition, Velgrind steeled her resolve.
Indeed. Then please look forward to it. Those who stand in the way of your crusade will die in peace. I shall rain mercy down on them,
she announced as she gently embraced Rudra. The two of them continued to chat well into the night. On the following morning, a legion of unprecedented proportions departed from the Empire and began their march on the Tempest Federation.
Volume 13 Prologue, 2 Misgivings.
Gadra was at an impasse, about 2 things, mainly. One, it went without saying, was about who might have been trying to murder him. If the assailant didn't even alert me to their presence, that lowers the range of possibilities greatly. I have my thoughts on their identity, but Gadra admitted to himself, he was too afraid to state the name. Because if his forebodings turned out to be true, it meant all his sinister designs, and those of Yuki and his gang as well, had been playing into Emperor Rudra's hands the whole time. No, it may just be possible. The Emperor has lived far, far longer than I have. He commands knowledge beyond any average person's perception, and he has the power to match. It wouldn't be strange at all if he saw how events would transpire and made his move decades in advance. But if so, Gadra was far away from the Empire. But if his suspicions were true, he thought, then Yuki was in danger. So now what? Should he warn him or just let him be? That was the problem. Yuki was hardly a stranger, he had a decent enough affinity for the man. Despite that, Gadra was firmly on the side of Rimuru's forces at present. He couldn't rock the boat right this moment. If he was truly concerned, he could have revealed everything to Rimuru and sought his advice. But if he disclosed all this uncertain intelligence and turned out to be wrong, it'd send Rimuru's trust in Gadra plummeting. Gadra had already betrayed the Empire once. Any further loss of confidence would affect his very position in life. The pluses and minuses to all his options left Gadra frozen in place, unable to take action. And that wasn't all. The second doubt in his mind made all his thoughts frazzled, flying in every direction. That face, that ambition. It is absolutely the same as what Emperor Rudra exhibited. But even the sight of me didn't seem to faze him at all. He truly appears to know nothing, and I doubt he is a fake, but there was no way Rudra could be there. No matter which angle you debated it from, Gadra concluded there was no other answer, which meant that person was just someone who resembled Rudra. But if that person was His Highness? No, that's silly talk. Let's think about who stabbed me. I have to conclude that I know the murderer, but if my hunch is right, that kid Yuki is in trouble. I'm not sure if I'll be able to sleep at night unless I at least give him a warning. And let's inform Sir Rimuru as well. In the end, Gadra gave his friendship first priority. It might damage his reputation, but that was fine. In this nation, after all, might truly did make right, and in Gadra's eyes, survival of the fittest was exactly what he hoped for. Finally reaching this conclusion, Gadra quickly sprang into action.
Yuki, it's me. I'd like to give you some advice. To tell the truth.
Before even asking what Yuki was doing, Gadra laid out his main points in a single onrush.
Whoa, this is sudden.
I am afraid it has to be. Think about my position, won't you? Sir Rimuru might start to foster doubts about me thanks to this, so I don't have time to debate the finer points with you. I'll do what I can overhear, so just keep an eye out for any nighttime assassins, alright?
With that, Gadra ended his magical call with Yuki. Then in the same motion, he walked off to report to Rimuru. In a well-oiled business, he recognized how important it was to stay in touch, report what you know, and be open to discussion. He was an expert at raising the apprentices and other people under him, and he didn't scrimp on those tenets.
So the old man's okay after all, huh? And I guess he's made himself at home over at Rimuru's place, even.
Yuki mulled this over with a grin, his gaze toward the window. The imperial capital was facing a long rainstorm, all but blocking his view outside, but even through the rain, his eyes detected a suspicious figure. Based on the person's well-trained movements, it was clearly someone directed to surveil him. The realization made Yuki smile expectantly, and he stayed where he was. Kigali, the other person in the room, spoke up first.
Do you mean Gadra? Well, I'm sure he did. Even a former demon lord like me has always found him a wily sort. The kind you'd best never turn your back on. That's why our relationship was so fruitful for us.
Yuki nodded.
It was. I gained my position in this nation thanks to him. And just now he gave me some of the most valuable information I could ask for.
Gadra, he was sure, wouldn't hesitate to give him useful intel on Tempest. For example, intel on Chronoa, that sort of hero. Her fate was still unknown, but if Rimuru was alive, he must have defeated her. Still, if Rimuru had actually contained all her wild violence, there'd have to be rumors about it by now, but Yuki had heard nothing. Gadra didn't mention her, either, so Yuki couldn't discount the possibility that Chronoa was dead. Maybe he was worrying too much about it. He decided to move on. He needed to work out the issues Gadra brought up in his emergency report.
Oh, did he? And what did he have to say?
So apparently Masayuki is the spitting image of Emperor Rudra.
Huh?
Yuki grinned at Kigali, who was too flummoxed to say anything else. If someone told him that out of the blue, he'd probably react the same way.
Right? It makes no sense. I thought that wizard finally lost his marbles, but it doesn't seem like he's joking. I really don't think the Emperor transformed into Masayuki or whatever, though. I can't be 100% sure of that, but
Yuki recalled his encounters with Masayuki. His smile dissolved. Looking back, Masayuki hadn't been summoned to this world. As he put it,
I turned around, and next thing I knew, I was here.
he was a visitor, someone who came to this world out of sheer happenstance, or so he thought. But I can't fully prove that Masayuki's an otherworlder. I mean, he used magic and skills to... He stopped himself before his mind went any further down this path.
Actually, let's save Masayuki for later. Right now we need to talk about the guys watching us.
Oh, you were piquing my interest just then. But you're right. It's a bit stifling, being observed like this all the time.
Right? It'll hinder our plans, and before that, I think we're gonna have to dispose of all our preparations anyway.
What was that?
You heard me. If the old man's telling the truth, it's safe to say we're in serious danger.
If Gadra wasn't lying, moving the composite division currently deployed for the Dwarven Kingdom was a bad decision. Yuki had no idea what would happen, but even before that, he needed to step back and figure out who was friend or foe. It was a complete restart, and that's exactly how cornered Yuki and his cohorts were.
Ah, then yes, now's no time to be talking about that Masayuki boy.
Kigali never doubted Yuki's words. If Yuki saw danger ahead, there was never any refuting that.
He told me he sought an audience with the Emperor, only to have someone stab him in the back.
Someone? Not Kondo?
Kigali paused, then dismissed the idea.
No, I assumed that nobody besides Kondo could kill Gadra, but I could picture some hidden talent among the more undercover single digits.
Besides, Tatsuya Kondo as the culprit was all too expected. Yuki wouldn't be demonstrating so much surprise if it were him.
I agree with you on that, yeah, but I'm surprised for another reason. Gadra said he thinks he knows who stabbed him.
The room fell silent. Kigali took a breath and peered into Yuki's eyes.
Someone both of us know well, you're saying?
Her eyes told him the story. They said tell her, or else. Yuki gave this a half smile and a light nod.
Believe it or not, yes. Of course, Gadra could always be mistaken, but I really don't think there's a way to mistake this.
Kigali's eyes widened.
So it's someone in our circle?
Her smile had vanished.
Yes.
Yuki replied, nodding. His smile, meanwhile, only grew wider.
Our double crosser is.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shout out to the new members of AnimeKouhai supporters: Curtis Loban, Zelda Gamer 819, Mizzle Bizzle, Edmund, Zephyrath, Jardane Redman, Bill Rastom Cruz, Hadila Francisca, Jabari Graham, Alver. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.